What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and welcome to another episode of our First Down Training show. Today, we're going to be talking about how youth football is literally ruining kids. We're going to talk about one of the biggest problems that I see in youth football. Then we're going to be getting into some current events. We're going to be talking about Brown's running back getting arrested for kind of a domestic violence battery type issue. It's a pretty sensitive subject, but we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to be getting into some questions that you guys left on a previous episode of this show. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's get started. All right, so I see this literally every single day, and it pisses me off to no end. I do not blame the players. I do not blame the young kids that are doing this. Sometimes I don't even blame their parents. Sometimes I do blame their parents. But honestly, I'm getting so sick and tired of hearing about how your 10-year-old is ranked a 4-star and he's the number 3 ranked DB in the class of 2047 or whatever the hell it's going to be. I'm so tired of seeing that, you guys. So we're going to kind of break down why that whole just youth ranking and youth exposure is complete BS. And then we're going to talk about some things that you can actually do as a youth player that will generally help you and generally benefit you down the line if you're looking for exposure. Okay, so first things first, number one, I have never ever heard in my entire lifetime of football, since 3rd grade to how old I am now, not one time have I heard a high school coach ask, hey, is your kid a 4-star? Is he a 5-star? What's his ranking? Is he number 5 in the class of 2087? I've never heard that, not one single time. So what is the purpose of getting ranked when you're not in high school? I understand the purpose of when you're in high school. I still think it's crap. I think it's more of who you know and a handshake type deal. But at youth age, what the hell does it even matter? I just don't get it, right? And so generally people do it for one of two reasons: clout and to look a certain way. I guess it's the same thing. Really just clout and to look a certain way on social media, right? That's literally why people only do it in my mind. It is not going to help you with exposure. College coaches are not going to recruit a 6th, 7th, or 8th grader legitimately. Now, I know what you're all saying. Well, I know Timmy over here he was a 7th grader and Georgia just offered him. All right. Those are called fake offers, okay? So, let me explain to you about fake offers. So, you can't get a legitimate scholarship offer, a legitimate, committable one where you can commit to the school until the summer before your junior year. So, you see a 7th grader, you see a 6th grader have this, quote-unquote offer. Just know that it was either paid for or the school is doing it for, hype purposes, and dad probably knows somebody on the staff. Now, why would a school do that? So, number one, this is a thing that goes on that a lot of people know about. But there's this underworld of fake offers where essentially what you do, and this is the price a couple years ago, it's probably gone up, but you could pay an assistant college coach on a college staff who doesn't even have the jurisdiction to give out an official offer. He's probably the inside linebackers coach or a GA, right? Not knocking that. I'm just saying that he can't give an offer. Generally a coordinator or a head coach are the guys that can give legitimate offers. But you give him $2,000 under the table, non-taxable by the way, and you give them the money, and then what they do is they post on social media, they give them a verbal offer. So they say, yeah, we'd love to offer you a spot. And so the kid, or the dad, posts something on social media saying, blessed to receive this offer, when it was a verbal offer. I could give you a verbal offer right now. I'm going to give you $1 million. Good luck trying to get it. You know what I mean? It's all crap, guys. It's all for hype and it's all to get eyeballs, okay? Now, sometimes schools will do it to really generate hype for their program. That's why the assistant will still agree to this because oh, it generates some hype, I get paid, whatever. It's all BS, you guys, because what happens if that kid sucks? All those offers go away and they were all verbal anyway, so it really doesn't actually matter. So there's that, right? So for those of you that say, well, oh, the rankings help because it helps us with exposure, not that kind of exposure, okay? Now, who is ranking these kids? Let's start with that, or let's get into that, I should say. Who's ranking these kids? It's all these BS R&R exposure camps, sign up and pay $250 for 2 hours. There's going to be 200 people out here, so your kid's going to get 4 reps, and then we'll give you a ranking at the end, don't worry. And it's what? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I pay this money for my kid to stand in line to get a ranking when he's 11, 12 years old? So I could put in his Instagram bio that he's a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. Number one, are these guys even qualified to rank kids? Probably not. Number two, we shouldn't even be ranking kids. Number three, is your ego really that big that you need to have a 4-star on your 12-year-old son's Instagram bio? Nobody cares, you guys. And these exposure camps are in it for the cash. All right, I'm just telling you that right now. It'd be different if you went to the camp and like it was actually like good training and like, you know, you got better and like maybe you got, okay, fine, you know, like, hey, at least they're helping these kids get better. It's not even good training, you guys. And then they make you pay all this freaking money for some all-star game where you compete against other kids who got scammed out of the money too. I shouldn't say scam, but like, I mean, like, let's just call it what it is here, right? So it's like all this to get ranked. Like, I don't understand that. Like, so honestly, guys, like the reason why I'm so passionate about this and the reason why I get so upset about this is not that they're doing it. I just wish everybody would wake up and be like, all right, this is stupid. And I think more people are because I continue to talk about it and people start like messaging me, like kind of like making fun of it. Like I get like text messages from people be like, hey, look at this. And it's like, you know, a kid who's like 5 years old who got an offer. It's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, so what I'm trying to say, and the reason why I'm so passionate, not positive, very negative about this, the reason why I'm so passionate about this is just simply because I interact with kids so often, and I see kids get like utterly discouraged because they don't have this like exposure, right? And it's like, well, you know, like there's this 12-year-old, he's a 4-star coach, like, you know, like, why am I not a 4-star? And they get down on themselves, and it's like, bro, it doesn't even matter. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's literally so dumb. It's literally one of the dumbest things in football, in my opinion, right? And so it's like, I want the kids and the parents to understand that like nobody cares. Like not a single, like, because what really are we doing youth football for? Why are we in youth football? Yes, we play the game to win. I'm the most competitive person on earth. I would, if I was a youth football coach, every game I'm trying to win. It's not about having fun. Yes, you want to have fun, whatever, and like, and if we disagree on that, cool. Like, I'm not mad at you for that. But what I'm trying to say is like, yes, we play it to win, but we're trying to develop athletes and get them prepared for when they go to high school. So when they're in high school, they can dominate, get recruiting attention, and then parents don't have to pay for college because you got a scholarship and you get a better education at some institution, right? That's the game plan. That is just true and true, cut and dry. That's what the game plan is, right? But when did like rankings and stars and all this stuff matter? It doesn't, because the high school coaches could give a you-know-what about your ranking and your stars and where you played your youth ball. They don't care. When you get to the program, can you help them win? If not, they don't care. If you can, okay, cool, you're gonna start. But it's based on your skill and how good you are. So quit investing all this money into these exposure camps when you're not even in high school. Quit investing all this money into some type of ranking or to get on like QB hit list or get on some like website, because it's, guys, like, what does it matter? Like, nobody cares. You're just flushing money down the drain when you could take that money and get little Johnny a trainer. You could get little Johnny a gym membership. You could get him a speed coach. You could put that money to use that's actually going to improve his skills, so when he gets to high school, he has a better chance to start on varsity sooner. That should be the goal. That should be the game plan. I don't know when we started ranking the youth athletes, but it's complete crap. Now, one other thing I want to discuss before we get into current events, guys, is the whole, like, okay, like, I'm not going to name any names, but like, you know, he's probably the most famous, you know, youth football prodigy, and I don't blame him. I blame his dad. Can't stand his dad, like many other people. And so this dude is going around saying, I'm the one who got my kid super famous. You should pay me X amount of money and I could run your kid's social media to help him get more followers so he could get money in NIL. What the hell are we talking about here? These kids are 12 years old. Like what? Like, I just don't get that. And I say this mainly for the parents, because understand that, like, no guy, no freaking like sleazy salesman is gonna help your kid get exposure. Your kid is gonna help him get exposure. The baby Gronks of the world and all these like social media stars, if you will, influencers, like, that's a dime a dozen. Like, that doesn't happen for everybody. There's no strategy to that, right? Like, you wanna know how like baby Gronk got so popular? Like, do you really wanna know? Like, he did crazy outlandish crap. Like, he's taking pictures with like Livy Dunn and like going on, like, he does like crazy stuff, right, to get eyeballs and to get attention, and it's actually wrong attention, but their mindset is, well, no publicity is bad, or bad publicity is still good publicity, right? No publicity is bad publicity. That's their mindset, right? And if you want to have that attitude, you want to be like the Kim Kardashian of football, like, be my guest, like, go for it. Like, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but I'm going to tell you this right now. You know what all the top NIL earners in college, let's talk about it. The guys who make the most money in college, it's no longer about sponsorships. Let me be real with you. It's about being a good football player. Do you know why Bryce Underwood got a bag from Michigan? Do you understand why? Because he's the best quarterback in the class. He's not a social media guy. He's not a dude who's like, oh, I'm vlogging today, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. Like, can that stuff help you long term? For sure. Like, if you have a good brand, like you have a good personal brand, a good guy maybe has a good personal brand, be like Chris Henry Jr., right? Like, and I saw him at an airport one time, and he had like, a camera crew with him, and that's cool. Like, you know what I mean? But he's got the skills to back it up, right? So he's like, okay, listen, I'm a really good football player. I'm going to leverage that and, start making content, start collabing with like Overtime or whatever. But again, he's got the skills to back it up. So if your kid's got all the sizzle but no steak, he's not going to do anything, right? He could have 1 million followers, right? 1 million followers. And like, granted, maybe you can make some money off of that. Fine, totally cool. But like, if the goal is to get him into college and make NIL money, he needs to have the skills, because now schools are paying athletes directly. It's through collectives. So like Bryce Underwood got paid from Michigan Boosters. He didn't get paid from Adidas or Nike or these other sponsors. He didn't get that. And the reason why, personally, I think that changed, where like colleges made that change to where like schools could pay him, is because I think they realized that these high school kids don't have as much influence as they thought. It's not like Travis Hunter's promoting a product. It's not like, Jalen Hurts is promoting a product. It's a high school kid that's really well known in his town, but he's unproven yet. So like, I'm not going to put him on a Chevy commercial because nobody really cares. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being real. Not to say that he could eventually progress to that point where he could get enough eyeballs and get enough attention and actually be able to influence. And there are exceptions to every single rule, like Shadur and Travis Hunter when they were in college. But that's not everybody, right? But if everybody wants to start making money, like, it's based off of your skill. So guys, I'm just saying this so you understand. I don't want you to waste your money. I don't want you to flush money down the drain, because it's a sad thing. People will take advantage of this great game of football that we have, and people will take advantage of kids. And it really honestly bums me out. And I'm just trying to make sure that you guys spend your time wisely. Don't get discouraged when you see all the BS online, and you don't spend your money in places where you shouldn't spend it. That's all I'm trying to say, and that's going to be my whole spiel on that, okay, you guys? So fellas, now we're going to get into some current events. We're going to talk about some different things that happened across the NFL this week. But before we get into that, you guys, if you were a quarterback or wide receiver watching this, we just released the first 3 cities that we are going to be traveling to this upcoming 2026 offseason for our 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camp. So guys, go to that very first link in the description below. That's where you can sign up. The next city we're coming to is San Francisco, California. Then we're heading out to Orlando, Florida, and then we'll be coming out to Phoenix, Arizona. We went to those 3 cities last year, and they completely sold out, you guys, by December, end of November. So fellas, make sure you take advantage of us having open spots. They will go fast. So again, very first link in that description below. We're coming to 15 cities in 2026, but we're releasing the next 12 cities next weekend. So again, guys, very first link in that description below. We'd love to see you out at one of our camps. So let's get into some current events, you guys. So current event number 1. So this is what Dan Orlovsky said about Jalen Hurts. There's no denying it. Jalen Hurts has that it factor. He says it's almost Tom Brady-ish. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about the comparison between Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady. I think it's a good comparison. I think from a mental perspective, I think obviously skill-wise, I think Jalen Hurts has a long way to go to reach Tom Brady, obviously, but I mean, like, he's only in his 5th or 6th year, right? So like, that's obviously that's a no-brainer. But mentality-wise, like, I liked how after he lost the Super Bowl, he had the screensaver on his phone, and that was kind of his motivating factor and driving factor. A story I could tell you about Jalen Hurts, like, there was this girl that I used to know that went to Oklahoma, and that was when Jalen Hurts was there doing his 5th year, and she said that guy literally did nothing but football. All he did was work out and play football. Like, that's it. She would go to parties, and there would be all the football players there, and he would never be there. He's just about his business. And so I think that's a very, very similar attribute of Tom Brady, where he's just obsessed. And I think that obsession is, pretty cool to see. And I hope Jalen Hurts can string together some more Super Bowls and make it a little bit more competitive in the league, So I'd love to hear what you guys think. Love to hear what you guys think about that comparison in the comment section below. Now, this is the big one. Horrifying Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins allegedly punched a woman in the mouth during an argument inside his Lamborghini SUV. Judkins was arrested in Florida for battery and domestic violence charge earlier this week. Now listen, I'm going to say 2 things. Number 1, if you guys ever have enough money to where you can have a Lamborghini SUV should probably never let anything bother you, number one. Because it's like, I'm rich, like, you know, it is what it is. Like if she's like upset about something or whatever, like just avoid the situation, right? Because this is the type of stuff that can happen. Now, what I will say about that though, that's not an excuse by any means. Not an excuse at all. Not an excuse at all. Men should never touch a woman. You should never touch a woman. And it takes a great deal. I say this to you guys so you could avoid problems later on in your life. Like I remember I dated this girl one time and I broke up with her and she lost it. And she punched me in the nose, gave me a bloody nose, hit me in the side of the head, like massive bruise on the side of my head, started swinging, slapping at me, kicked me in the nuts, all this stuff, and I didn't touch her one time. And listen, here's the thing, guys, it's just from a man, because I know this is a man-dominated show. Like mostly guys watch this show, so that's why I'm speaking from this lens. I don't care how pissed off you are, you have to control yourself, guys, because at the end of the day, like it's just, you have to control yourself because you have a lot to lose, especially as an athlete, especially if you ever become a college athlete. Let's say some of you become a pro athlete, you have a lot to lose and it's just not worth it no matter how upset you get. You should never, ever put your hands on a woman. Ever. And you know, maybe this was a situation where he wasn't provoked and maybe he's got some serious mental problems and that's something that he needs to figure out, right? And again, he hasn't been put in jail, like there hasn't been a jury, there hasn't been a trial, he got arrested, right? Something you should know about domestic violence is that anytime that there's a phone call, an arrest has to be made. So and most of the time it's the guy, and the guy goes to prison, or not prison, but jail, or you both go to jail, right? So somebody has to go to jail, and it's very rare that it's just the woman that goes to jail, right? So him being arrested doesn't necessarily mean a ton, because again, we saw the same thing with God, what's his name? Xavier Worthy for the Chiefs, where his girlfriend just flipped out and made the whole thing up, right? So it's one of those things, guys, where like you just got to wait for all the facts to come out. But I need to give you that piece of advice because like as men, we should never put our hands on women. As men, you need self-control. And that's a big part of being a man is you need self-control because you're going to be put in situations like this where you need to act like I equate it to faith. You got to be the man that God called you to be. You can't just act on emotions. You can't freak out, take a deep breath, and relax. Or you got some serious issues if he just did this unprovoked. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. I know it's a touchy subject for a lot of people because, believe it or not, a lot of people are have either been around domestic violence in their childhood, have seen domestic violence, have been victims of domestic violence. Like unfortunately, it's a very, very common thing. So it's sad to see this, obviously, because you know he's a great football player. But again, man, it's tough to see. And hopefully, we wait for all the facts to come out. Hopefully, there's more to the story. But I feel bad for the woman. Obviously, no man should ever touch a woman no matter what happens, okay? All right, you guys, so now on a lighter note, we're going to be getting into some of your guys' questions that you guys have left on a previous episode. So guys, if you have questions, stuff you want to ask me, you know this. I read and respond to every single question on this YouTube channel. So guys, if you have questions, do not hesitate. Post them in the comment section below. I will read and respond to everyone, and the best ones I will feature on this show. So, question number 1 from Jico LMAO. Coach, can you make a video on how to catch a wobbly ball? My QB hasn't been throwing good spirals. I need to show him your videos, LOL. So yeah, if you're trying to catch a bad spiral, dude, biggest thing, it's going to have to do with your eyes. Focus on the white stripe around the ball. So QB throws a ball that's kind of a duck or whatever. If you focus on that white stripe and you try to watch that white stripe into your hands, it's going to be a lot easier for you to catch those bad passes, okay? So I hope that makes sense, dude. I appreciate you asking that. Next question from 8problems. 6'1", 155 pounds going into freshman year, trying to play wide receiver. Should I try to gain some weight? Yeah, if you're a wide receiver and let's say you're 6 foot or above and you're below 160 pounds, you're on the lighter side of things. So I would suggest a good goal weight for you would be like 170, 175. Probably not going to gain 20 pounds within the short amount of time that we have till the end of the off season, but I would say 170 is a goal that you should try to ultimately shoot for. Now, if you're on the shorter side of things, like maybe like 5'8", 5'9", you know, and you're like 155 pounds, that might be okay. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to play at the college level and you're short, you need to have some weight to you. Just look at any Division I college roster. Look at the heights of the wide receivers. They vary, but the weight is always there, especially for the shorter guys, because you need to have some size to you to be able to take some hits. So that's ultimately what I would say, okay? So I hope that helps, man. Next question from Trap Kicks K4M. Thanks, Coach. If I'm going into 8th grade next offseason, should I focus on skill or the weight room? This year I have been doing both. So if you're trying to decide if you should focus on building your skills or building size and getting bigger as a football player, the short answer is both. I know that's not the answer that you're looking for, but at the end of the day, your skills are important, but you also got to have the size. So like, luckily there's 24 hours in a day, right? And you could do both. Like, it's easy to do both. And they're going to expect you to do both in college, right? In college, you got weights and then you got practice. So skill and then putting on size. So if you're in the summer right now as a football player, like, it is totally fine to do 2-a-days. As long as you're recovering, as long as you're getting a good night's sleep, as long as, you know, maybe you're doing like massage gun, foam roller, cold plunge, or ice bath, just taking care of your body, giving yourself rest days. But it's totally fine. In the morning, you hit weights, you hit it hard, you're trying to put on size. In the afternoon, maybe you do some skill work. That's the type of schedule that they're going to require from you at the next level, so it's better to get used to it now, okay? So I hope that makes sense, dude. So fellas, guys, appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope this episode was able to help you out. Hope it gave you some value and gave you some knowledge of some things to look out for in the youth football world. And also, fellas, guys, again, if you have questions, stuff you want to ask me, do not hesitate. Post those in the comment section below. But seriously, guys, I appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you next time.